And that's it. We're live. So thank you, Jordan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Very excited to get a chance to speak with you. Your tools are something I've known about for years. The most memorable experience I had with your tools, I think, was I feel like it was about 3 years ago at the window film convention, and I was walking by your booth, and somebody was like, "Hey, want a hand job?" And you guys were giving out the hand job tools, right?
That was me.
Okay, so I don't remember if it was a woman or a man that handed me it, but I definitely remember the tool. I remember the phrase, and it put Fusion Tools in my head forever with that
Yeah,
tool.
I'm not even gonna lie. We hadn't done anything for like a long time as far as like a new product went. And so that was the first new product that we had released in like almost a decade. And so we were like, well, how are we gonna, make an impression? How are we gonna get back on the map? And long story short, the name came about by mistake, and then we realized that it was gonna be like a great marketing angle. And so for real, I practiced like 2 weeks straight in the mirror, like asking people, like, do you want a hand job with a straight face? And, I mean, I'm so immature. Like, I laugh at like the stupidest, like 12-year-old boy jokes. I think are the funniest thing ever. So it took me a while, but yeah, that was really what got us like back in the game. So that was
Well,
fun.
yeah, it definitely got my attention, and usually something like that, it's a risky move. You know what I mean? Like, did you have that? Were you just like, hey, what the hell? Let's go for it. Let's get the attention. Or was there any sort of like, oh my gosh, this could blow up in my face?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Definitely. Like we knew that we were going to have, like our more conservative clients that were not going to be down with it. And even like our injection molding facility, the girls in their office, when I would call them up to talk about the tool, I'd be like, so, I need to know what's going on with the hand job mold. And they'd be like, yeah, hang on. What's the hand tool? How's the status on it? Like they wouldn't say it. So it's we knew that it was definitely going to be like a risky move, but it worked out great. I think the only thing that kind of sucks about it now is that I am known like throughout the industry as the hand job girl. Like that just follows me everywhere. So
So
that is funnier.
So let's rewind a bit. How did you get into tint tools? How did you get into window tinting? How did this all happen?
I'm sorry. I was chilling chilling with my Corona.
So funny. So
I I couldn't resist.
we'll have to, that's perfectly in line with your brand too at this point. Like, or my understanding of it is. So I guess your opinion on the coronavirus, if we could jump into that, is not such a big deal at the moment.
It's not affecting like my immediate area. We only had like one confirmed case. So, and the guy like for real was supposed to be under quarantine and actually went ballroom dancing. That's like 20 minutes away from me. If everybody heard that story.
Where
So,
are you, by the way?
we're about 20 minutes outside of St. Louis on the Illinois side. So we're like, downtown St. Louis area, unfortunately. But I mean, we have a good business though. We have a good spot. We like it.
So
Um,
I'm in LA, and I haven't noticed any like blowback from it. Everybody seems business as normal. Like restaurants are busy, everything's normal. But I guess we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, they're like shutting our city down right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything in St. Louis has been canceled. They just released anything with 1,000 people or more has been postponed or canceled. And I know we were actually supposed to attend the ISA, and that actually fell through even before all of this happened. But they just postponed the ISA till August. So it's definitely already like affecting the industry. It sucks.
Yep.
Hopefully they can like get it under wraps. I was
Yeah.
wondering about that because you're in LA, like
So
or
they just announced today that 250 people. They're asking like gatherings of 250 or above to be postponed.
wow. See, that's way lower than us. Which I thought 1,000 was really high too. I was like, man,
Like they could just call those people directly. I'm sure they know when 1,000 people are getting together.
yes, yeah. I thought the same thing. Yeah, that's crazy. So tell me about like your product though, because I
Okay.
honestly have we just moved into a new location and we have been scrambling to catch our butts the entire time we've been here. So I don't get a chance to like hang out in the forums and talk to people as much as I used to. So Tint Wiz is an app.
Tint Wiz is an app. It's a all-in-one scheduling app. It's a way to manage a customer from lead all the way to invoice, everything in between. And it does kind of tie into the coronavirus because to me the coronavirus, the effects people are seeing possibly just like today as a window tinter. Maybe you had some jobs cancel. Maybe you might feel certain people aren't going to want you to call you to their house and so on. Anyway, to me, what I see this coronavirus, it's like a little wake up, like, hey, this is like a tiny, tiny recession. And kind of rewinding to why Tint Wiz came about. I had a window film company. It was growing very quickly from the start. I wanted it to grow quickly. And I saw two challenges ahead of me. One being, hiring and training people is a bottleneck. So like we need people and you're growing quickly. So like you need a way to manage your staff, whether they be installers, consultant or admin people. So that was one challenge. And I figured, the challenge was either I was going to hire a bazillion people and take on training, and that's just management and sick days and the whole HR mess, or I needed to figure out a way to get the most out of every person. And to me, getting the most out of every person had a bigger value because, number one, if I can get more out of an employee, that means I can afford to pay them more. And if I can afford to pay them more, then they're going to be happier. I'm going to be able to get better employees. They're never going to leave. So like that kind of solves another whole thing in itself. And then the other thing that was super attractive to me was I came out of college right around the recession time. That was my entrance into business. So I remember the recession really well. And my thought then was, I was like, glad I experienced the recession as a young person, not at the end of my life when I have everything to lose. Because like I could lose whatever, it doesn't matter. But so anyway, that being on my mind, I thought, what if I build this window tint company and I'm on top of the world, and in 10 years from now or 8 years from now, we have a recession that could knock down all my pins and I could spend another 10 or 20 years rebuilding, and then I'm going to be like 60. So I was like, I don't want to let that happen. So using technology to be efficient was my utmost priority. And that was how Tint Wiz, the concept of it. So it went from, I was using Apple Calendar for scheduling. I was using Google Sheets to like keep track of jobs. I was using email to transfer pictures and job information from customers. We're using iMessage and it was just like too much. It went from feeling organized to being overwhelmed after you get more and more stuff in there. So, it was like, hey, why don't we, build a CRM? And it started with an efficient scheduler and then adding, features like proposals and pictures and invoicing and so on. So that's that. And then I found myself, loving that aspect of the business more than the day-to-day, because to me, I always see the day-to-day as something that comes and goes, but like being able to have a bigger effect on business just seems more fun. So
definitely,
I hit that crossroad where I was like, whoa, I could sell the business and focus full time on the part that I love the most and share it with everybody instead of keeping it like this secret, like this golden goose.
Yeah.
So that's
I totally understand.
That's what happened at the end of 2018. Sold the company and focused on bringing Tint Wiz to all tinters, and that's where we're at today.
That's awesome, dude. That's such a passionate story, and even though you didn't give me like the full gist of it, I completely understand. Like we're like hand in hand with what you just told me. It's Nick started out tinting cars. He's a machinist by trade, started building tools, and now like our tint shop is really just more of like a research and development facility. It's really just here so we can, keep doing what we're really passionate about, which is the tools. And you asked me, what got me into the tools. Well, it was actually Nick. Nick's my boyfriend and the owner. He's also the inventor of all of our products. And he's incredible. He's so talented. I'm going to have you sit down with him, just you guys. And I mean, you'll be amazed. He gets going, and like, it's crazy how talented he is. And he'll be humble about it. But I mean, honestly, he's gifted, and I like that he gets the chance to share it with the world with the tools. He has the same aspects that you do. He's he's very passionate. But when he and I met, I was actually working part-time at a bar, and then I was also working part-time as a GameStop video game store assistant manager, which is kind of what I did. I was retail store management, like straight out of high school. College just wasn't for me. So I did the marketing aspects of a lot of the businesses that I was involved in. And when he and I got together, I was part-time as an assistant manager at the GameStop. And one day he turned to me and he was like, "Do you understand it's costing me money to send you to work?" It was like right after he had put new tires on my car and an oil change and all this. And I was like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And he was like, "Okay, well, why don't you just quit and, and come to work with me?" And so I did, and I started out with, just like little stuff like, on the tent shop side, invoicing, things like that. Um, and then we went to a couple of different trade shows, a couple of SEMAs together, actually, where we were just like backpacking it through the show with like, a bunch of tools in the backpack. And it got to the point where I was like listening to all of his conversations and I was knowing, I knew more about the tools. Like, I know how they look, before they're logoed. I know how we logo them. I know the whole 9 yards. So um, I think it just kind of gradually happened where like I would start interjecting in conversations where like he probably didn't want me to, to be, and from there, I don't know. I was like, I can do so much more here, and so we started talking, and he started developing the hand job actually, and when we did that, I was like, okay, let me be involved, let me do something with this. Let me create a Facebook page. Let me create a website. When I came around, he didn't even have a website, and he only had like 6 products.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we just kind of slowly built it up from there, and I just kind of like took it over, as like my little baby as far as like the marketing side goes. And I do like all the paperwork and the order processing, to the warehouse and the whole 9 yards. So really, he gets to focus on the fun stuff now, like developing the products, and I get to focus on all the other stuff. So it worked out so great that like between the two of us, now that he has time to do, the designing and I have time to do all the marketing, that we just kind of like 1-2 punch it together, I guess if you will. And so, now we've built a brand and we've got the new products coming out like all the time, and it's just this incredible journey. And now we're getting to know people like you and like other people in the industry. I mean, we have just this the whole network of amazing people that we know throughout the industry and like all over the world, and it's just such an incredible humbling experience. Like, I love it.
And it's grown super quickly, right? Because
Yeah.
it's about what, 3 years then, 4 years?
Yeah, we went from 6 SKUs to now we have like 165, I think, something like that. Yeah, in a matter of like 6 years. Yeah, and the branding too. Like I did, all of that. Whenever he and I would first start going to the shows together, he was our corporation. He was A+1 Incorporated, so that's our corporation name.
Mm.
And then he would tell people, I'm with A plus, and they'd like kind of look at him like blank, like, and I was like, you Fusion handles, and they were like, oh yeah. So I told Nick, I was like, nobody recognizes you as A plus. Everybody knows Fusion handles though. So because that's like your staple product, and that's what you've, kind of, become known for, that's what you have to build off of. And so we decided to build the brand Fusion Tools. And so from there, it just like skyrocketed. I mean, with every new product he's put out, I've done the marketing for it. We've met people, we've done trade shows. As you know, we gave you your first hand job, so that's always fun.
So,
And we just try to keep it fun.
what have been some of the most popular tools?
As far as like just over the course,
Yeah, or I mean that you've released recently or over the course. Like, what are the highlights? Because you said 160 or so SKUs. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, we definitely have our biggest sellers. The Fusion handles are an industry staple. And Nick was actually the first one to make a purpose-made handle for window tinting. So anything else that's come out since the Fusion handle has been a copy. That was Nick's design. He's actually the original Crusher 5, the old aluminum handle. That was him as well. Discontinued that because aluminum prices went like, out the wazoo, and obviously you don't want metal near your handle, so that went, and the new Fusion handle came through. So the Fusion handles, the orange crushes are a classic. The red line squeegees took off like crazy. Like, we did not expect them to go as well as they did. And honestly, when they first came out, we were kind of blindsided, and we got like sold out, and we were back ordered for like 2 weeks. And then the 4-inch Hornet is by far our most popular PPF squeegee. And I'd have to say our mounting solution all type. I literally get calls like at least once a month or a message of somebody who's like, I love your all type. It's changed my life. It's changed the way I install. I have a friend down in Texas. His name's John Scott from Solar Control.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally called me and he was like, Jordan, your product, all type has literally changed the way I install. I went from fighting my PPF installs to, getting a contract with the local Tesla dealership. And now I have this huge, like 2,200 square foot shop. So, I mean, it's incredible that the products are doing that much for people. But, yeah, those are definitely, off the top of my head, our most popular.
I feel like John's moved shops expanding like 3 times in the last year or so, hasn't he?
Yeah, dude, he's a freaking beast. Like, he's just so motivated. And he's got Nadia behind him, and,
Mm-hmm.
Mama Bear, she's just awesome as well. So, and the kids, I don't know if you've ever met their kids, but they are like the sweetest kids ever. Like, we went down there for John's opening, and his little girl's having problems with her iPad. So, I have two phones. I have, a shop phone, and then I have like my personal phone, and I gave her the shop phone. It was a Saturday. It wasn't ringing anyway. And she like teared up and was like, thank you so much. And I've never been squeezed that hard by a child in my life. It was so cute. But yeah, that whole family, like they're just rock stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's hard worker. I don't know how he does it all, but he seems to like just be nonstop.
Yeah, he's just in beast mode like all the time. I love him to death, honestly. There are some of the people that we've met that are just like incredibly humble, like wonderful people. And that's honestly what makes it worth it. And I'm sure you get calls like that now too, where you've got people calling you up like, hey dude, I can't thank you enough for Tint Wiz. Like, it's making my shop so much better. Like, I'm totally gonna download it because I'm not gonna lie, I'm still scheduling things in my Apple calendar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's what you're saying is 100%, 100% like relate to and agree with, and that's like the beauty of this small industry. You're not just kind of dealing with like random one-time consumers. You're dealing with people who do this for their lifetime. They're at different stages of their business, and like you know, um, I especially love like hearing your story. How it's another one of those from tinter to being in the tint industry without tinting. And
Yeah.
that's like the evolution of the industry. It's not necessarily for everybody. There's no right or wrong, but it just shows like how the industry is moving forward and the opportunities that are there in all ways. So that's really
I love how the industry is growing. I think it's absolutely insane. We've got a lot of like, it's so weird, like almost a lot of almost racial tension in between like some of the different yeah, like the different, well, the brands, and then like the like the vinyl installers and the PPF installers, and like those PPF is bringing the vinyl world and the tint world together, and it's so funny because those groups of people are like two totally different groups of people.
mm-hmm.
Like your vinyl guys are, a lot of vinyl guys are like straight hustlers. Like when I meet them, they are like all about the bottom dollar. Like that's what they want to do. They want to make their cash. And it's so cool to see like their opinion on things. And then you turn to the tint guys, and a lot of the tint guys, they just want to make enough to feed their family and, enjoy a little bit of vacation every now and then and enjoy life. And then you've got the PPF, like middle of the road. And those guys are like a perfect mixture of like hustlers and, guys who also want to go on vacation. So, I mean, it's really fun to see like all of these different personalities kind of like being forced together.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
and really like see all the different products and the different companies and how they're like tackling all of this. Like
Yeah.
all the companies bouncing off of each other, like Expel and Ceramic Pro, and you got Matico and Protection Pro, like all the companies are really becoming like one industry, and it's really a neat thing to sit back and watch from somebody of our point of view. We get to talk to all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to see everything grow the way it is.
Yeah, and detailers are in the mix there too, because
They are.
if you're a detailer, you probably started doing ceramic coatings, you probably started doing paint protection film, and then you might as well do window film. So like obviously like the evolution of, you might just think of yourself as a tinter, an automotive tinter, and you might like that specialty, but the reality of it is detailers that start becoming, everybody's becoming an auto spa essentially. And while
Yeah.
you may want to hold on to just tinting, you may never see your customers because they may go to the paint correction first and then end up
Right.
getting paint protection and then window tint at the same stop. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, our shop, we're really on a great area of St. Louis. So St. Louis is set up, and there's like one highway that circles St. Louis. But we're right in between two of the little webs,
mhm.
and we're right next to a hospital. We're right down the street from the county courthouse. So we're like doctor and lawyer central. And we're on a main drag. So we watch like, nice cars go by every day, like Mercedes, BMW. We had a McLaren pull up here the other day, which for us being in this new location and this new shop is like, whoa, like we're getting McLarens now, like
Mhm.
moving on up from the F-150s. But yeah, I mean, it's really, that's what they want. Like the customers want, to bring their McLaren in, and they want it detailed. They want it PPF. They want it tinted. They want it ceramic pro'd. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you powder coat my wheels?
Yep.
We're
Yep.
like,
Brake
we
caliper.
don't do powder coating.
Yep. But it's one of those things like you're better off finding somebody who does and making it work. They drop out their car for a week, you drop the wheels off and so on, because if not, they are looking for that all-in-one solution a lot of times. And that can be a $6,000 ticket for a Tesla, or it could be they go somewhere else because they didn't want the inconvenience of going to 3 different places. So
That's totally true. I mean, and we actually do glass replacement too. So yeah, it is. It's a great business. We love it. The insurance companies are sometimes a pain in the butt to deal with, but other than that, I mean, it's great profit, and we like being able to provide the service. Not to mention, we tint like a whole windshield. It's way easier to tint it before we put it in.
mhm.
So every time we get a customer, it's got a cracked windshield. Like that's an upsell for us.
And it's an opportunity to look at their paint and have that conversation if you offer paint correction. And,
Yeah.
look at their tint and say, hey, I know you have a tint, but it might not be providing you the heat rejection. Come feel this, see the difference. Like every customer in the door is an opportunity. And like, what better opportunity than when like glass is broken? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a learning curve. And I think the biggest challenge that a lot of shops have right now is finding work, finding helpers.
yeah.
So you're getting a lot of shops that are doing one of two things: either they're just hiring whoever they can hire right now because they're desperate,
Mhm.
or they're dialing back and just
Yep.
keeping it to 1 and 2 installers. And so it really, between like the whole industry is like stuck between a rock and a hard spot right now. Either you grow and you try to find decent employees, or you dial back and just do what you can do.
Yep.
And I know I actually went to we're an Expel shop, and so we went to our Expel dealer meeting. And Expel has a great dealer meeting. They have all these breakout sessions, which were like mini classes. And this year, one of them was talent acquisition, which is obviously hiring people. And one of the stats that they said in the class pretty much blew my mind while I was in there. There's about a 4 to 3% unemployment rate in the United States right now. Like 2% of those people don't want a job. And then that other 1 to 2% is who everybody's trying to hire. So, I mean, the unemployment rates right now are insane. I mean, you got to hire, you can hire morons, but they expect to be paid like rock stars. And I mean, that's like a worldwide problem right
Right.
now. So I feel really bad for the shops that are hiring. I actually had a lot of luck on Indeed.com. We just hired a new kid. I didn't hire him from there. Lucky for me, he walked into my shop, happens to live in the apartments right behind us, and needed a job because his car broke down. So we were like, that was a stroke of luck out of nowhere. But for
Mhm.
everybody else, I did have an Indeed candidate. And I did pay like, the extra bit that it was like $10 a day to list, and then I think I paid like another $200 to go through candidates myself. But I had a candidate I was probably going to hire. So I mean, if anybody wants to check that out, I personally had it. I had luck with Indeed. I think it's a great resource.
It is, and because if you're not like, I feel like you have to look at hiring just like you're looking at getting customers. Like you're kind of selling somebody, you're presenting your business as a place that they're going to work, just like you're presenting their. It's a bigger commitment than getting a customer in because they're going to give you part of their life. So like you can't think it's going to be easy. You can't think you can just like put out an ad, not promote it, and everybody's going to see it and want to come work for you. And the best talent's going to be sold on your ad. And then the other tricky part that this industry, I feel like, falls victim to, it's like a good problem to have, but you see it time and time again, is somebody starts off and they say, when I get busy, I'm going to hire. And the next thing they know, they're at maximum capacity and they're saying, I'm too busy to hire,
Yeah.
time to hire. And then that
Right.
potentially never changes. And they have
No.
their whole
Or
career
they get
out
too
saying,
busy and they don't have time to train
that's
somebody.
it, right? Or
Yeah.
if they do, it's short run because how much they don't have the patience, they don't have the actual time to put towards it. That person doesn't work out, and then how much effort are they going to put into hiring somebody else? It's easier to just
Yeah.
do it myself. Is the I'm you know
Yeah, and that's where, you fall back into the I'm going to dial it back and just do what I can do. Well, then you've already got a tint client, base established, and that's all that you can do. So you do miss out on that $6,000 Tesla ticket.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's I feel bad, and it's not just our industry. And like I said, it's not just our country, but I say I feel bad for the industry, but really, I mean, I feel bad for anybody as an employer right now fighting for that, 1 to 2% of people that wants a job. I mean, it's rough. It is rough right now.
But I feel like it just kind of elevates. It elevates what you have to do as an employer. So like you may have to offer benefits, you may have to offer more money, and you have to look into ways to be able to pay your employees more because it's going to take that to earn the it, it's then you have to look at how you can get more out of your customers and how you can run a more efficient business, and it just makes your business evolve versus just a hired hand at a minimum wage and keep rolling. So
Well, I know one way to make sure that you're running efficient business is to have the right tools.
that's
So
true. And not just the tools you use in your hand, but the tools you use on your phone.
that's right.
First,
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like all of the tools, like we have a heat lamp display in our waiting room. That thing will upsell one of our cars every time. I mean, we had a loyal customer come in the other day. He wants our base film. He's happy with it. It's what we've always had. Well, we moved here, we got ceramic. And I mean, this guy was dead set on he was only spending, $300 and that was it. But by the time he saw the heat lamp display, I mean, he was upselling himself, adding his sunroof and his full windshield
right.
with ceramic. I was like, it went from a $300 ticket to almost $600. We were like, yes, like
And
that's what we need to do.
what's the equivalent of that? That while they're waiting, and you're not you literally, but like while somebody's tinting, what's the equivalent of that that the customer ends up selling themselves on paint protection or on home tinting or on paint correction or whatnot? Like there is an equivalent of that where a customer can be sitting there, they could be watching something, they could have a demo next to them along with watching something, along with something you mentioned to them, and at the end of the day, like they're converting themselves, and it's it takes time and effort as a business owner to figure those things out and the trial and error and execution on that, and you don't have that time if you're tinting at 110% capacity. So then you say, well, which is better? And I think the second one's the better one. Like, or I don't know, didn't put them in order. I think running the business has its great advantages than just working in the business. Not that there's anything wrong with it. We all have jobs within our business, but trying to look at it from that like bigger point of view is, I feel like, more rewarding and over the time. Gives you more options to pivot and do what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about being efficient. It's all about using the time that you have wisely. Like you were saying, the customer can be watching something. When we moved here to our new shop, we invested in a really cool ceiling mounted TV mount. And there's double TVs that lean down like this in our shop. Well, on my side of the desk is our security cameras, and on the other side of the desk is our waiting room, where we're getting ready to I'm going to shoot some commercials. I have a video guy. So it'll just be me talking about like architectural film, about, ceramic coatings, about the powder coating that we do have, a partnership with somebody now, about glass replacement, the whole 9 yards. Whereas now when the customer is sitting in my waiting room, instead of him staring at his phone, in 1 hour that he's here getting his two front truck doors tinted, he's going to be learning about the things that we can do to save him, money on his utility bills, and how we can protect that pretty Corvette he's got covered in his garage, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, investing in things like that, to make your shop work for you, I think are definitely some primo pieces of advice that veterans, like yourself and like myself in the industry can offer to, newbies or people who maybe, like you said, kind of can't see the forest through the trees of how to get their shop to do more for them.
Right.
Like, in a small investment in a $200 TV, setup could be the difference between you getting a house job and sweltering in cars all day.
Yep. And something I'd like to see for manufacturers that I feel like is super easy these days is, because like manufacturers all sell you like wall boards. Sometimes you get them for free and like, like little tabletop demos and so on. But like, it's so possible now to go put a like Wi-Fi enabled smart TV on a wall. You don't need any boxes or anything. Everything's built into the TV. You can connect remotely to that TV. And manufacturers, like you could be an Expel dealer, they can put a 80-inch TV on your wall for $500 or $800 from Costco, and they could remotely control the content that goes on there. So then, like as new films are created, as they make new marketing videos, as there's like holidays and so on, like that can all kind of be done. And a company like Expel or Lumar, like they could make one change that goes across all like 800 or 1,000 dealers at once, and you're taking it out of the responsibility and like the technical challenges that would face like a normal dealer if you send them like a USB jump drive, or you tell them to like go to the website, download it, and get it on their TV. Like that's not happening. You can just handle it,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that would be really smart on their ends, definitely. And I know that there are definitely some companies, like SolarGuard and Autobahn. They're doing things on the marketing side that are both trying to kind of assist their dealers a little bit more. Like SolarGuard has a program called the Dealer Portal, where you can log into your dealer portal and you can download anything out of what they call a marketing toolbox, I believe. I know it's been a while since I've seen it, so don't quote me. But it's basically, resources for all the marketing you would need.
Yep.
If you need their logo, if you need some pictures, and they're slowly building that up. It's taken them a while to get their marketing program back up and running because they're a very large company, so they have a lot of channels they have to go through. Whereas like Autobahn is doing closer to what you're talking about. They're a little bit of a smaller company, so things get accomplished a little bit faster. And then they also have the ability to listen and apply it, much easier than some of the larger companies do. I don't think they provide you the TV, which I'm not sure. We'd have to ask like
provide like the drive basically. Provide the jump drive, load it in, and they customize it for you and so on.
Yes, but you can call them up and say, this is what I want on it. Talk to your rep. Your rep can have it like tailor fitted to your shop. Like, which Autobahn film do you want to display? And it plays this like really pretty little commercial. So I think the industry is getting there. I think that a lot of people are scrambling to keep up with the growth, because for so long now, the economy's been fantastic. I don't know about you guys or other shops, but like our tint shop, since we got to this new location, has consistently been built and booked out anywhere from a week to 3 weeks. I mean, I am never short of work, like ever. It's to the point where we're actually like still under construction on like about a third of the building. And we just can't get it done because we are so busy. But yeah, I think that's a lot of the industry's issues is that, there's just so much growth going on right now that everybody's like, chasing their tails.
What do you think the next like 5 or 10 years, if you feel that you could guess that far, like what do you feel as far as growth goes? I mentioned like recession earlier. Do you think, because it's everybody's going to a bigger shop, everybody's going to a fancier shop, everybody's doing more and more and more. And just curious, like, none of us can predict it for sure, but what are your thoughts as far as what that looks like, in the next couple of years or so on?
I think a lot of it hinges on a couple of different things. I mean, right now, obviously, we have this coronavirus thing going on. And we talked about this in a different group today. Somebody asked, how do you think this is going to affect the stock market and the economy? And I had commented, I think it's going to have like, a good effect and a bad effect. At first, it's going to be bad. Like this is going to affect us. Obviously, everybody's running around looking for toilet paper right now.
So and some people have like more than they could ever use, right? Because the toilet paper has to be somewhere.
It's yeah, I think there's some people hoarding, and that's just wrong because there's a lot of other people running around with filthy
Because
booties.
nobody
So
needs more toilet paper because of the coronavirus. Just somebody took more than they needed and left other people without some, right?
yeah, it's literally a
Okay.
panic buy. Like it's insane. So I mean, we've got that. You know, obviously it's going to be a bit of a bumpy road in some aspects, but then in turn, I think it's actually going to be good. I think it's going to bring a lot of resources back to the United States. We rely a lot on exporting, and I feel like because of things like this, you know, obviously entire countries are being quarantined right now. It's going to force us to look within ourselves and be more resourceful, as opposed to, you know, just, oh, okay, let me buy that from China, let me buy that from Italy. You know, like every day you can just Amazon Prime something and it's there.
Right.
So yeah, I think immediately that's going to affect us, and then we also have the presidential election.
Right.
I think some things are going to hinge on that as well. So it's difficult to say, but I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of slowing down of growth. It seems to me that, I mean, we're still an industry, you know, that caters to consumers, um, and the consumers seem to be pretty happy buying stuff and don't seem to be slowing down. I mean, trends everywhere up until this whole coronavirus thing were climbing. I mean, people were spending, you know, more on their weddings. They're spending, you know, more on travel. They're spending, you know, just more in general. They're buying brand new C8 Corvettes. I mean,
Hmm.
it doesn't seem to be slowing down. People just seem to want more. And I mean, it's doing great as far as the economy goes. We're thriving. Well, we were thriving until this Corona thing hit. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more primo shops, a lot more places and people growing. I'm really excited to see the next generation of installers because I don't know about you guys, but my kids whine excessively anytime I make them do like any work. So I'm I'm really interested to see how the next generation's going to hold up.
They're innovators. They're going to work to find ways they don't have to work.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they going to find like a machine that just like suctions the PPF onto the car? Like
Yeah.
who's what's next? I don't even know. Like,
Well, and you, I mean, you very well may be correct that the economy will just keep going, and because we haven't ever experienced a time like this. Obviously, like with technology and so on. So with the ability to find employment in so many different ways and for so many different types of like roles that didn't exist in the past, and even just like when you're talking about like running out of supplies and so on. Of course, we've like people are already running supplies on Amazon. Like things get sold out, but we never really had like 10 years ago, we didn't have this like system to transport like paper towels and toilet paper and crackers across the country overnight in such like a smooth way. I mean, it feels like even when there's natural disasters, I mean, granted that brings up its own challenges, but like we now have the ability to get resources to where they need to be as like very quickly and very efficiently. So, um,
yeah,
you know,
I agree. You know, and honestly, like I know everybody complains about like shipping and logistics and everything, and yeah, it's expensive, and yeah, they're a pain in the butt. But I mean, for real, like the logistics companies are killing it. Like you want to talk about who's making money? It's freaking UPS and FedEx. Like they are raking in the dough these days, and they should be because everybody, the entire world is relying on them now. You
hmm
know, whereas before, like you said, you know, you had to go to the local hardware store to pick up, you know, a 3/8 drill bit. I mean, now you can get it to your door, you know, almost faster than it would take you to drive to Home Depot and waste the gas. And if you don't need it within 2 days, you know, why not wait? You paid for your Prime membership, you might as well go ahead and use it.
yeah.
So I mean, it's a very interesting, you know, day and age to live in. I think it's yeah, I think we're still going to see a lot of growth. It's just a matter of like where is that growth going to take us? Like, you know, with this whole coronavirus thing, now we've got people going, okay, I'm just sitting waiting for the zombie apocalypse. Like,
Yeah.
for real though, like, is it going to happen? Because at this point, it's like anything's possible.
It is. And anything is possible. And like, I can't, if you listen to the news, it feels so real, but it always feels so real. It always disappears. Whether it's like some sort of like protest or riots, whether it be fires. Like I felt like California was burning down like a year ago. Like that was the end of California, and it was
Yeah.
this is the end of the world, and like everything's on fire, and like it'll never end. How could this possibly end? And then it's like, oh, everything's normal, everything's green. Like it always feels that way. It always gets better, and it's always kind of like out of nowhere. It feels like the end of the world, and then next thing you know, you've completely forgotten about it, and there's something else going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be any different.
No, I don't think so either. Like everybody's, Nick and I have been talking a lot about it. Nick's like, well, we actually have a cruise planned for our family this summer. Like, of course we do, and it's like, it's my kids' first cruise and they're really excited. And now I'm like, crap, I'm going to have to cancel. But like, I've been holding off.
Yeah.
Like the cruise lines have told everybody, like you have, well, at least this cruise line has, I have until like May 31st to make a decision and get like my full refund back. So I'm like, okay, well, how fast did the bird flu fly over? Like, how fast did SARS go away? Like, I don't think this is really going to hang around as long as everybody thinks it is, or, the way that everybody's panicking about it. Honestly, I think it's going to be the same thing like what you're saying. Like, 1 minute it's here and the sky is falling, and the next minute it's going to be something else. Like, the presidential elections are just around the corner, and everybody's going to start losing their mind over Trump in a minute. So, like,
and it feels like it feels like the media is like kind of responsible for this chaos.
Yeah.
And it feels like everybody, gets some sort of like there's almost like a sense of entertainment factor just from like spreading it, whether you're like pro it or anti it, like whether you think it's going to be another world or not, whether you like to share memes or like death stories. Like there's some sort of enjoyment out of being on one side of that coin. It kind of fits into like the prepper like whole concept. And like, I don't know, like I hope nothing happens. I hope I'm not wrong. Like,
right? Otherwise,
but it just seems
alternative's not great.
It just seems like such bullshit. Like we can all have fun with it if we want and share it, and like we got to take precautions, and certainly like people are out there getting sick and so on. But like I don't know that the panic aspect of it is like necessary or like helping anybody.
No, it's definitely not. Like I would love to meet somebody who's like genuinely panicking about it, because I think I would just have so much fun, like blatantly making fun of that person without them knowing it.
So I'm going to get my mom in on this live stream and have her talk. We're going to see if I can connect her, because we had a trip planned tomorrow. We were supposed to meet in San Francisco, and she just canceled on me because she's worried that she'll be quarantined for 40 days.
Oh my God.
So I, however, am not worried I'm going to be quarantined for 40 days, so I'm going to be going anyway.
Right. Like, bye, Mom.
But Mom, if you're watching, you can still come. But yeah, I don't know how it happens. I feel like you talk to the wrong person or you watch the wrong thing on the news. They hit you in a point where you feel a little like weak and like worried, and I don't know.
Oh, dude. Outside influences are the worst. Like you can be having a bad day and then talk to your friend about it, and that friend can be the difference between it getting better or it getting so much worse. And that's what the media is. They're just another outside influence. Mm-hmm. So like, honestly, you turn on, your local Fox News at the end of the day, and the next thing you know, they're all running around with their hair on fire talking about how everybody's going to die, and you're like, oh mm-hmm. crap. I guess I'm going to die. Maybe I should go buy some toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's I think that's the worst, honestly. Outside influences are the worst. Like you really have to take like almost everything in this world with a grain of salt anymore, and be so picky and choosy about whose opinions you trust and care about, and that's
right.
Ooh, that's like ownership, shop ownership, business ownership in a nutshell. Like you can't let people affect you and what you're doing in a negative way at all. Like, and that just goes hand in hand with like, every aspect of life. But I mean, as a shop owner, as a business owner, like, the decisions that you make have to be 100% for you, not based on somebody else's opinion, especially if that somebody else may not even be, the right person to talk to.
100%. It can lead you down. It can lead you in any direction. And like the saying is like, you're the average of the 5 people closest to you. And now it's kind of like you're the average of the 5 people closest to you and the 30 people that Facebook shows the most posts to you. You're the average of them too, because
Right.
it sinks in. It like definitely does. And nobody's completely aware of the subconscious aspects of it, and like the parts that just kind of set your day and like the whole thing. And I prefer the ostrich. I think it's an ostrich. That just keep your head in the sand. Just put your head in
Yeah.
the sand. That's perfect. And try to just be aware of the things that actually can affect you. And
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I actually had that conversation here recently with another well-known industry person. Actually, just this morning, I was like, "Look, you just have to treat, the people that don't matter like they don't exist, and just keep doing your own thing,
yep.
like for real, because." Nobody is going to get anywhere, chasing each other around or whispering, sweet nothings into each other's ears. Like, you just focus on you.
And our time's limited, so like I feel like when it's easier to fall into that, it's easier to just listen to whatever and go down whatever path. But like when you realize that like it affects how you feel, it affects your future, it affects your family, it affects your friends, it affects every part of your life at the end of the day, like how you feel, your moods, your actions, and so on. That and being that, as far as we know, it's limited. It's like, is that worth it? Like
Yeah.
it's it's almost like a lazy approach. It's like going with the wind instead of just deciding
Definitely.
like this. This is how it can be. And like, um, so yeah, I don't know. I used to be such a cynical person, and I thought that's just how it was. It was fun to me. It was fun to me to talk shit. It was fun to me to point the negative out, and then like I realized like whatever I'm considering fun actually feels like shit, and I'm the only one that feels it. Except
Yeah.
the people that I'm like projecting it on, they feel it too. But I
Yeah.
actually feel like it the most. And then you're like, wait, I can change that. And then I feel better. And then when you're around that, you're like, ugh, like, oh, get away from me with that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go feel that somewhere
Absolutely.
else.
Yeah, I used to tell Nick all the time whenever he and I got together, he actually was going through a lot of personal stuff. He had just lost custody of his children. He had gone through a bad divorce, and he was in a kind of a down spot, every now and then. Obviously, his whole life had just been turned upside down. But I used to tell him all the time, like, happiness is a choice,
Mhm.
and he like never understood that, until we had gotten further along in our relationship. And now, like, when something bad happens, like today, oh man, we actually had a rough day in the shop a little bit. We had one of our guys that were training ruined a decal kit we were putting on for the local body shop.
Mm.
And so now we have to obviously buy another kit, out of pocket. It's been a little bit of a rough day in the install side of our shop. But on the way to lunch, after the mess up, I looked at Nick and I'm like, you can let this affect your entire day, or
Right.
we can just move on. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we decided to do. So we went to Penn Station, had a sandwich and some fries, and just try to move on, come back and start over. It sucks. Yeah. It doesn't change the fact that it sucks. It doesn't change the fact that, now we have to buy a very expensive vinyl kit out of our pocket. We lost a little bit of profit today, but at the end of the day, the world's still spinning. And I've still booked out 2 weeks. So
100%.
money's gonna come in.
I try to look at that kind of stuff as the universe challenging me to see how I react, not like me being like the victim of just like bad fortune. Because like if it's a
Yeah.
challenge and I'm like, I have to stand up to this challenge and show the universe I can handle it. Hopefully the universe won't give me any more of them because they see I've mastered it. But like if you give in and you just like feel like a victim, then
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
Sitting around feeling sorry for yourself is not going to get anybody anywhere. I mean, I think you're allowed, like, a certain amount of time for how
Yeah.
big the situation is. Like, if somebody dies, obviously you can sit around and feel sorry for yourself for a while,
Right.
but if you mess up a piece of vinyl, like, I think you only get like 10 minutes,
Right.
like, and then you got to like suck it up and and move on.
Yep.
So like, put on your big girl panties and do the darn thing.
Speaking of big girl panties, Carrie, mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
was in here. Carrie, thanks for watching and commenting. And she was saying that you look amazing. So
Oh,
throw that
I
out.
love her.
And Robbie said, if all the great minds we know about stopped because of what someone said, we would not know about them. And I once heard no press is bad press when you're doing what's right. See.
I can agree with that, honestly, because we've definitely, I mean, as a company, we've had some, quote unquote bad press before, that, I mean, totally worked out in our favor. And I can't think of any one instance off the top of my head, but I know for a fact it's happened. And the same, what he said, just to back it up even more. Yeah, like absolutely, we were doing the right thing. And so, regardless of what everybody else was saying, in the end, we prospered because of that. I think that's wonderful advice, Robbie.
And
Absolutely.
what I found oftentimes in like when we were running the tin company was like when we had one of those issues, like okay, an installer breaks a pane of glass, like that's kind of a common one. It happens installing or removing film. Okay, that instance, though, yes, it costs us a little bit of money to replace that glass, and it sucks. Okay, but that instance almost always led to a happier customer than the customer that we didn't break their glass because we
Oh,
instantly have somebody fix it. They thought it was like the greatest service. They were so happy, and it was like that customer was easier to deal with and happier, left a great review than the customer who like everything went smoothly and they were just like, all right, whatever, you know?
yeah, absolutely. I literally have like a brand new Google review on our shop's listing from a guy who, we were tinting his charger, and he had ordered, like, special ordered this charger, of course, like had it shipped in from like 4 states away.
Mhm.
Beautiful, like just gorgeous car. Well, it's no secret chargers are a freaking hassle to tint to begin with, and the back defrost lines are just a pain in the butt. And freaking Chrysler needs to recall them, but they won't, because it's not worth it yet. But yeah, we had to remove the back window. We had a piece of something underneath the film. It happens to everybody, a hair or something. I don't know. We have dogs in the shop. It's horrible, but we have
Oh, oh,
we have like 7 dogs, and 4 of them come to work, and one of them sheds. So I'm sure it was something like that. It was like
okay.
a dog hair got in the tent or something. Well, we went and pull it off, and Nick and I were in the back seat of the car together, and this was literally like last a month or two ago at the most. And I went to pull it off, and when we did, we got the tint down, and it's like in my arms, looking at it, and I said, "Oh my God." And he goes, "Don't say anything." And I said, "What is that?" And he goes, "I don't want to tell you." And sure enough, all the defrost lines came off with the
Mhm.
freaking tent. Oh my God. You want to talk about a bad day at the Fusion shop? But yeah, no, we ended up having to, rent a car for the customer, had to work with the local dealership to get the window warranted. The customer was without a car, without tint on the back window. And of course, it was all jacked up in the middle of winter time when it was rainy and nasty outside. And after it was all said and done, though, he left us this like glowing review on our Google. And I did not expect it at all. I thought for sure he was going to be like, that was the biggest hassle I've ever had in my life. But instead, all he talked about was like how professional we were and how we handled the situation as fast as possible, how we rented the car for him because we felt so horrible.
Mhm.
And that's like you said, we got a better response and a happier customer out of a horrible situation.
Sure.
And we never expected that. Never. It was pretty humbling.
That review will probably bring you more business for the rest of the time you're in business, forever. And sometimes like you see posts and like people like you get ideas and you're like, all right, what if I have him sign a waiver? Well, you have a Dodge and like blah blah blah. Well, if you would have had him sign a waiver, I don't know that he would have been as happy with you and understanding as he was. And then you're gonna get a bad review and you're gonna leave a response saying, well, I had a waiver, and then Joe Blow as a customer is like reading your reviews and he's like, well, I'm not going here because like I'm not signing away the damage to my plate car. Like,
Right.
so like it changes the whole dynamic of then, you're going along saying, well, I don't know, I can't get customers or whatnot. And it's like, well, you know, versus you have a positive review that's bringing you customers.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's true. And customer service, I think, is something that's like kind of gone by the wayside. We're talking about like this world and the way it's evolved. Like anymore, you almost don't need customer service. It's all automated now. It's all, how was your experience, 1 to 5, and the customer, hits 5 on your Square account, and they feel like they've done enough to review you. Anymore though, the customer service aspect has fallen off, because now all they have to do is, okay, here's your tent, and go out the door. Looks good, you're happy, I'm happy, cool. Um, but yeah, I guess that's where you get it, is from those bad situations. You get
Yeah.
the above and beyond situations.
And I mean, even with the customer service, like you're right, everybody, it went from like reviews not really existing or just being word of mouth to then getting reviews naturally, then automating those reviews so that you start to send out more and you get more, and then the effectiveness of those automated reviews starts to then decrease. And then the people who are winning are the ones that request the reviews in kind of an out of the box way, or earn the review, or personalize that review. So it's like a pendulum, it swings back and forth. And, one of the things like I like to bring up is like, I definitely believe in automation, and it's super important, but like you have to pick and choose where you automate, because an example would be new inquiries. When a customer's inquiring, it may feel like, okay, I can just automate this. I can send them all my information, all the pricing, how to schedule, and so on. And then I don't have to deal with that. And I'll deal with the customers that want to come to my business. But that, in my opinion, now, like in this day and age, like people are not necessarily like the people willing to spend the money. They're not necessarily like looking for that. They're looking for that personalized service. So you're doing yourself a disservice by automating that part of your business. Whereas there's other parts of your business where you can use tools to your advantage. But like, don't shoot yourself in the foot automating the most important stuff, like getting a review or the first time you talk to a customer.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so
No, I
important thing.
completely agree. We actually refuse to give text or email quotes. I refuse to. I'm the one that does most of it anymore. Again, Nick is just always doing the daily operation stuff, the tool stuff. He's always just doing. I'm the one anymore that's like, behind the desk, behind the phone, doing, whatever. I actually had to jump in the back seat of a car yesterday because Nick was dealing with something else. So I had to finish up a back window, and our new kid was like, "Hey, you really know what you're doing, don't you?" And I was like, "Look, I know I sit behind a desk all day, but there was a point where I didn't do this."
Sure.
But yeah, no, like the same though. I refuse to give an email or a text or a PM quote. Like if you message our shop's Facebook page and you ask me how much it's going to be for your Hyundai Elantra, I'm not telling you.
So
I'll
how
tell
does
them,
that work? What happens? I'd like a quote for my Honda
yeah,
Elantra. What happens next?
you get an automated message, and the automated message is an automatic reply that you can set up through your Facebook or whatever, through your Google, that says, "Thank you for your message. At this time, we are not providing text or email quotes, PM quotes, something along those lines, for an accurate description of your vehicle or your situation, something like that. Call this number," and then it gives the shop number, and then it says during business hours, because that really bothers me. That's like a pet peeve. Like, leave me alone if it's 8 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
Don't call me.
Hey, and
So
that's the beauty of it, is like you get to architect your business the way you like, because you can say, hey, don't bother me after 8. Maybe Saturday and Sundays are mine, or whatnot. Maybe they're not. It doesn't matter. And somebody else can say, I want to take your phone call at 9 p.m. You can bother me all you want. And like,
mhm.
it's like there's a customer for every type of person.
Oh yeah.
Not like a right or wrong there. It's you get to offer what you want, and now we get to match you up with a customer that is looking for what you're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's 100% accurate. Because of the things that we're doing as a shop, like that automated message that says, "Hey, I'm not going to text you." I even have like, a copy and paste message that goes into an email confirmation when I send people appointments.
Mm.
And it's just a whole list. And it says like my email confirmation, one of the things that is my favorite thing I did for appointments says that if you bring me a car and this is like, a short unprofessional version of what it says, but if you bring me a car that's going to have like nasty ass like chicken nuggets in the back seat and covered in dog hair, we're going to charge you a $20 detailing fee. And
Right.
I know people are like, really, that's all you're going to charge us, $20? It doesn't matter what I charge. I could tell them I was going to charge them $5. Any extra charge automatically puts it in that person's head like, oh crap, I better go clean my car. So now we're getting like these beautifully sparkly clean cars in. Like we never get a filthy car anymore. It's so nice. Like, and we're getting the clientele that we want. Like you
Right.
said, I'm not getting the guy who has the 93 Buick and he wants to tint all of his windows with his tax money. And I'm thankful for that, because I don't have time to clean a car for 6 hours before we tint it. So, but that's my shop. That's where we're at in our business. Now, the mobile guy down the street, he may still be hungry for that tax money. And that's great, buddy. And I'm so happy. There's plenty of work for everybody. You do you and you go get it.
Right.
Like when you get to my level, I'll be retired, so I won't care.
But what doesn't work is you like somebody looking at everybody else and then doing a piece of what they do, a piece of what they do, and always chasing what seems to be working for other people, because I think that's how you never become your own, and you're missing parts of the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to do what works for you. Like I know in the beginning of all of the tint forums, there was like a lot of stigma about mobile guys. They were like, oh, the mobile guy, he's going around selling jobs for $30, blah, throwing a fit or whatever. Well, when it comes down to it though, like the mobile guy is catering to, a certain clientele, and he's
Right.
servicing the clientele that you won't, or a different shop couldn't. Either way, there's one of the things that I think I've heard, recently that really stuck with me is, and this has been 3 years now that I've been saying this, but there is plenty of work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't like, we're friends with our competition. Like Mike Vandeveer of A Shade Darker Window Tinting, he's in the town next to us, and he's been a colleague, I guess you could say, a competitor of ours for years. And he came into our shop 2 days ago and, bought an Orange Crush. So, I mean, that's the kind of relationships that I think more people need to,
Sure.
Need to realize that there's plenty of work for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody thinks that like a $69 tint job is going to put a company out of business because they're going, or a mobile tint shop is going to put a company out of business, then I would challenge you to put Starbucks out of business by making coffee for 89 cents, because you'll still make a profit on the 89 cents potentially, but good luck with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not going to be worried about you, nor should you be worried about the person down the street doing it for $30 or whatever it is. It makes no difference.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
So Patrick just commented from Window Tinting Business, woohoo premium mobile, because Patrick's starting a mobile window tinting business that he's documenting on his YouTube channel and on Facebook. And today's Patrick's birthday, so I want to wish him a happy birthday and a huge congratulations, because he also got a van, which is obviously like an enormous step for a mobile window tinting business. So
that is awesome. And that's just like one step closer. Hi, Patrick, and happy birthday. And this leads me to a conversation Patrick and I actually once had, like, years ago. Nick and I used to live above our tent shop. So our old shop, we actually have like a really nice house up above it. And when I told Patrick that, he was like, oh my God, I wish I could get Nina to do that. And I was like, well, you just have to make the house like baller and then she'll do it. But this is just like one step closer to his goals. Like Patrick, I hope you get your house above your tent shop one day, because that's awesome, dude. You're just like one baby step closer, and that's freaking incredible. I'm so proud of you and so happy for you.
Yeah. Yep. And he's off to such a good start. And like with the logo's awesome. The name, the whole brand, the way he's going about it, the way he's taking like step by step. And then you talk about like people, I don't know, potentially being worried about their competitors. Like this is somebody who's literally sharing all of his business plan every week, step by step. On the internet, and like I'm imagining that it's only working to his advantage, not in any way work to his disadvantage. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's super incredible. Well, does anybody have like any questions? I feel like we've been here for like an hour. We have.
The time flies, as you see. And any questions, obviously, anybody ask them at any time. They go up on the screen. I'll ask them to Jordan. And then Mike Powell commented, hey, Jordan, Max Flux Heat Gun for the win. Thank you and Nick for amazing products.
That's what's up.
And a little earlier in here, when we were talking about shops that do multiple services, Jason, I believe, let's see. Hang on. Jason Omeletsky said, when you can do all three, what do you call them? I think he was referring to like paint protection, tint, and What else were we talking about? Maybe ceramic coating or paint. But anyway,
Yeah.
I feel like the term is becoming like auto spa is kind of a all encompassing term if you're kind of looking to brand yourself as more than just a window tint company. But
hmm Well, like our shop is called Fusion TNT Solutions, because we do more than just like he was referring to all three. Not only do we do auto glass, we actually do like full storefront glass. And a lot of people don't know this, but Nick and I have a separate repair business. For a local school district, we go around into East St. Louis for their school district, and we repair like doors and broken countertops and things like that. At like like 7 o'clock till like 2 a.m. sometimes. Just depends on what the scope of work is that they need done. Um, but yeah, I think that we had to have something that encompassed more than just an auto spa. So we came up with, what are we doing here? We moved to the new location. Our shop used to be called A Plus Glass Tinting. Well, that really limited us
mhm.
to, only a tinting client base. And I told Nick, I was like, look, when we move up here, we need to have a name that really tells our customers that we're going to offer lots of different things. We're going to offer lots of different solutions to their problems. So we came up with Fusion TNT. Obviously stands for Tint and Tool Solutions, because now we do everything. So I really think it just depends. Like, sit back and think about like what works for you as a company. Like, are you just doing the auto thing? Great. Well, do you offer architectural too? So like think about what fits you, and don't be scared to ask.
Sure. And you can definitely go a route that you can pick a name that kind of is all encompassing, maybe whether it be all encompassing or not specific, or you can also come up with multiple brands. So, it doesn't take that much to come up with multiple websites, multiple Yelp pages, multiple corporations, and so on. And you can also divide and conquer. And, they both have their pros and cons. So the again, it's one of those things you get to do whatever you want. I'm curious for you. You guys are obviously, like, you and Nick are obviously hustlers. You have your hands in a ton. You're moving in, like, you're in this new shop. There's the tools, there's the tint, there's the glass, there's the repairs. Where do you see this? Is there an area that you want to focus in? Is it like take over? Are there areas you want to expand into? Like, what do you see happening?
Um, so I definitely want to take over. Like, that's
Okay.
just me. I just want like everything. But no, we love the tint. Well, okay, Nick loves to tint. He loves it. Like, I don't have a passion for it, like actually applying the film like he does. I need more, I don't know, I guess instant gratification than that. Like, I just this is you're gonna be like, Jesus, what doesn't this woman do? So I actually just bought like all stuff to do like t-shirts and like make our own t-shirts and stuff like that. And like I cut the vinyl and I laid down a t-shirt and I made this like knockoff Alpine Stars t-shirt for my son the other day. And it
Mhm.
was so much instant gratification that I was like jumping up for joy, like, yay, this is so great. I think Nick wants the tent shop to grow.
Mhm.
He wants it to the point where like we can have installers in the shop that he doesn't have to babysit and he can walk away. So
Mhm.
that's where he's focusing a lot on that. And then he's also focusing on the new tools. We're actually still developing our vinyl hard card, which is called the Flex card. We're having really difficult time just getting the material line where we want it. It's a fine line, and some of our products take years to develop. We're just not happy with them until it's perfect. So I want to see the tool business grow. I want to see us with the tool business just go to new heights that we never expected. I mean, for real, I would like it to get to the point where like Nick and I are traveling all over the world, just doing shop drops, which is something that we're going to start implementing again. You probably don't know about it because it might be before you really started getting into like all the
No,
forums
I
and stuff.
remember you used to show up randomly at shops with tools.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely remember. Yeah.
we're totally going to do that again. We just, this new building like consumed us for so long. We actually, okay, so the new building used to be a car wash.
Okay.
And we bought it was like this dilapidated like piece of crap, but the location was just fantastic and we couldn't pass it up. So we have spent like countless nights and just putting every bit of money and energy that we had into this place, and we're still doing it. But It's catching up now, and we are going to start doing the shop drops again. But I would like to do shop drops in like Australia, like in South America. Like I want to see it get to that point where we are just like these global like monsters, you know. Like I know it sounds like such a high goal, but I want to meet tinters and installers all over the world. Like I want to sit down and have dinner, you know, with Travis and Trish Lang in Australia at the winery by their house. You know, I want to go to Germany and see Auto Mechanica. You know, the whole 9 yards. Like I want to be everywhere, and so that's definitely the goal, is to just, I mean, explode over the next 10 years.
I love it. And are you going to be at the Window Film Convention this year in Orlando?
Most likely. We have not made any solid plans yet, simply because we just don't know, you know, what's going to happen with the whole coronavirus thing. That's kind of crazy. I want to go, you know, like I love Window Film Mag. I love all the girls. I actually blog for the magazine, so I mean, it would break my heart, you know, if we couldn't go.
And if, if,
But
if the Window Film magazine is affected by the coronavirus, that's 6 months from now. We are
yeah,
in huge trouble, like huge
yeah.
trouble. Like as humanity, like we're going to be in a bad position if we can't go to a window film convention in 6 months from now because of this virus.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. And that's not the only factor that's, you know, going to come into play. We've got some well, I told you, Nick, you know, we share custody of our children. A lot of people know that, like, I'm actually a huge father's rights activist. I used to be super super hardcore into it. Again, this building kind of like consumed us, and the business exploded right as I was like really getting into the father's rights movement. But um, we're like this close to getting 50-50 custody of our kids back, which is incredible because I mean we miss them so much, and so that's part of our personal journey that might affect whether or not we can go. If we get 50-50 of our kids back, that we might not be able to, because obviously we're going to have more time being parents, and less time being business tycoons. So we'll see what happens. You know, life's a journey. I'm just along for the ride.
Yep. Yeah. Well said. So, as far as anybody who wants to try buy Fusion tools, is um, obviously like you go through distributors. Can you buy directly from you as well on your website, or just through
No,
distributors? Or
yeah, we only sell through our website. I mean, I don't advertise a lot there. You can buy on Amazon. I don't recommend it. It's not the best place to buy. It's not the best deal at all. You know, honestly, the best way to go is through distributors. I'm trying to expand the distributor network, to really be fine tuned by location and who is where. So if you keep an eye on our website, you know, I'm literally updating it about once a week now. I'm just trying to add, you know, whoever carries our tools anywhere. So if anybody's watching and you carry our tools, and you're not like a direct customer of mine, but you're a direct customer of like one of my customers, we have a whole section called partnered distributors, and I want to add you to our website. I want people to have access to our tools. So for now, you know, that's where we're at. And a retail website is definitely going to happen sooner or later. I have no timeline of when, and it's still not going to be the best place to buy our products. You will always get a better deal through our distributors. You'll always get more customer service through our distributors. The only reason that we're even considering going direct is because I probably get a message about it at least once a week, like, "Hey, why can't I buy from you? Why can't I buy from you?" You know, and my answer is always the same. The distributors are the ones that brought us to the game, guys. Like, we have so much respect for our distributors. We love them. We love the relationships that we have with them, and we don't want to do anything to damage that. So we would appreciate it if you guys would continue to give them your business.
and any distributors stand out off the top of your head? I know it's one of those things you don't want to skip any, but like, is there any one or two places to direct, or just go to the website, look and find one that you want to buy from, and that's the best way?
Yeah, go to the website. You know, anytime anybody asks me like, "Hey, who do I buy from?" I always try to tell everybody, just buy from somebody who's close to you.
Yeah.
You'll save on shipping. You know, you'll get better customer service as opposed to trying to buy from somebody who's all the way across the country. And that's why I try to do the location thing a little bit more fine tuned so that people can see, oh, well, 44 Tools is in Ohio, or, Inner West is in California. So, then they can see, well, this guy's, much closer to me. So I can buy from them and get a better, better customer service experience, better deal, etc. So.
And for somebody who hasn't bought any tools from you, but they're going to right now, what would be like the top 3 things they should try as like their first tools?
Oh man. Well, I mean, there's so many different like aspects that you can do. If you're doing auto install, I would say you have to try a Fusion Shorty handle, and you have to try an Orange Crush. The Orange Crush has evolved so much over the years. So the new material is incredible. And if you don't like the Orange Crush, you need something harder, then I would say try a Red Flat Out. Or not Red Flat Out. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm staring at a flat out right now. So I'm like trying to talk about my own tools and getting confused about them. Sorry, a Red Extractor. So try one of the red lines. They're fantastic. And then of course, a handy dandy hard card is like the industry staple. Like if you're tinting and you don't have a hard card in your pocket, like what are you doing? So PPF, it really depends on what brand you're using, but our Pink Turbo and our 4-inch Hornet are definitely our most popular tools for PPF. Try all type for tint, for PPF, for vinyl, whatever you got. And then when they come out, and we are doing our vinyl hard cards, definitely try one of our Flex cards, because they're the first injection molded, purpose made hard card, for the industry. So we're pretty excited about them, and we're really working hard to fine tune those materials. So hopefully, people can see that and appreciate that, obviously we are doing this so that we can make money at it and continue to do it. But we really truly do have a passion for this. And we truly care about the industry. I know a lot of times people hear Fusion Tools, and these days, I don't know why, but people think we're like this, huge company, but we're not. We have like 6 people tops. And we're just a small tint shop trying to make solutions for the rest of the industry. I hope that people can see that and appreciate it.
I love it. And I mean, if people are assuming you're a huge company, it's because you're obviously doing big things, regardless of your size. Like, so keep it up.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, it's the truth. If they were getting bad customer service, they would more than likely assume you were like, a tiny shop, or like, or if they were getting cheap tools, they would think this is out of a garage. But it obviously says something to the quality. And you mentioned earlier, like, yeah, we're trying to make money, but ultimately we're trying to provide great solutions. Like, there's nothing wrong with making money. Everybody should appreciate that, because it's money that helps like the world go round. And if there's money to be made in tools, if you're willing to pay a couple extra dollars for quality, that leaves money for innovation, and it leaves money for higher quality. If as a industry we don't practice what we preach when it comes to selling tint, and when we're buying tint or we're buying tools, you only shop for price, then you're kind of doing what doesn't work for your customers. You're doing that for yourself, and you know how that goes, and that's really silly.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, and absolutely. I mean, people definitely have, ooh, your tools are expensive, to us before. Our response is the same though. Like, I think a lot of people forget our quality is, known for being pretty good. And the reason it's pretty good is because all of our tools, except for 3, we have 3 products now that are not made in America. But the rest of them are all not only made in America, but all of the materials are raw sourced from America, which means that the majority of our products are free trade approved. So when they're importing and exporting, people are getting taxes back on them, sometimes duty free. We do our best to try and make the products as high quality and cost effective at the same time as possible. So it's always like an uphill battle for us. I'm not gonna lie, like we're not like getting filthy rich off of these tools. Are we making enough money to sustain? Yeah, but another thing is too, we're a C Corp, and Nick and I actually receive a salary, and that's what we live off of. So all the rest of the money literally goes right back into the business. So it goes back into, the inventory, back into the next innovation, the next mold, the next idea, the trade shows that you guys see us at. any of the profit that's coming in, we're not wasting it. We're not squandering it. I'm not rolling around in a bathtub full of cash like Darkwing Duck. No, we're making enough to raise our kids, go on a summer vacation every now and then, like I said, just keep making products.
Yeah.
Just keep growing it into something that hopefully either our children will want to take over, or when it's time to retire, maybe another company will want to take the idea and run with it. We're still young and we're still killing it, so there's no there's no really end in sight. But I mean, we don't want to let this baby just die out one day. It's something that we really want to see just, I mean, go to, like I said, to new heights.
Yeah. Well, I love it, and you're definitely it's clearly on the way, and if not already there, and beyond. So thank you for doing this. Keep this up. Everybody support Fusion Tools, quality tools, obviously. And Carrie said DuckTales, woohoo. It's funny, as you were saying, like anytime anybody brings up money like that, it's definitely the vision, like exactly what you just said, like rolling around in like the bathtub of money or like a safe full of coins. So I still say there's nothing wrong with that if you were doing that, but obviously,
No.
because at the end of the day, that's most of the time a sign of success. It means that people are enjoying your products. And if people are like, I feel like Elon Musk deserves to roll around in bathtubs of money. People are enjoying his success, doing great stuff. So, people should never hate on success and money. But keep it up. Thank you so much for doing this. It was such a great chance to finally get to meet you face to face and get to speak with you. And I wish you nothing but the best, and hope we can do this soon. And we need to obviously figure out some sort of collab we can get going for Tint Wiz and Fusion Tools, and get some tools in people's hands. So we'll talk about
that. Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have some more conversations, not on a live feed. But thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, thank you. And then to everybody watching, obviously, thanks for joining and commenting and sharing and everything that you do. I really appreciate it. And then kind of just a little twist. Today, we're going to be doing another Tint Wisdom after this. Harry Ramon from Veloce Innovations wanted to talk about the coronavirus and how it is affecting the window tinters and the industry. So kind of funny that you brought the corona with you. So we'll be back in, 10 minutes or so, talking about the coronavirus. I promise it'll be interesting because there's a lot to talk about. So, Jordan, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody for watching.
Thanks, Eric. Have a great night.
You too.